Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today as we close in on the end of the War for Cybertron trilogy as a whole, we go to the fans, we go to the votes, we go to the polls to see who are the top 10 best War for Cybertron figures that came out across the entire line. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, ladder my baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And we are toward the end of a year. This is Monday of the week just before Christmas of 2021. We are at the end of a line, being the War for Cybertron line, before we go into a Legacy in 2022. If you're watching this later, then we may already be in Legacy. I don't know when you're watching this, but it seemed like a good time to go back and ask the fans exactly what they thought were the best offerings throughout the entire trilogy, right from Siege through Earthrise, through Kingdom, and the associated selects offerings. A couple of people tried to vote for a couple of the Studio Series 86 offerings, but they're not really part of the War for Cybertron, so I didn't really include them. I will note them at some point herein. But it was a hard, close vote. It was a hard vote to do because a lot of people like a lot of different things, you know, and a lot of people have claimed it's been a strong line. I think it's been a little iffy. But we are to a point now where we're doing this. We're also going to do a fan-voted worst of the entire trilogy. We will do a fan-voted best of 2021 and a fan-voted worst of 2021, and we will do my personal best and worst based on my own experiences throughout the past year with what's been offered. There were a lot of honorable mentions. I have 8. They had the exact same number of votes, so we're going to do them first and get them out of the way. They came close to being on the list, but didn't quite make it. They include Springer, Siege Springer, who didn't have a super long life, but I like that Springer, to be honest with you. I think it's a good Springer. His ankles could be a little stronger, but I think it's a good Springer. Siege Starscream. Now, to be fair, some people tried to vote for the Siege Seeker mold. Some people a couple of people voted for Skywarp. I don't count groups, so I couldn't count Siege Seeker mold. I needed a name. And if I put the votes for, you know, that group together with Skywarp and Starscream, then yes, that mold would have made the list. But due to technicality of, you know, I'll say like a voting technicality of needing a specific character, it didn't quite make the list. But it really kind of, if there's anything that deserves an honorable mention, it's the Tetrajet mold. Simple as that. We also have the Arc. It is an honorable mention, as well as Siege Ironhide. Air Razor, I thought she was going to get more love than she got, but in all honesty, some people complained about her wings breaking. I haven't experienced that, but I would be sad if it did. Netflix Soundwave, who I really thought was going to get more. Hound and Siege Megatron. They are all the honorable mentions. None of them made the list. They all had the same amount of votes. All great offerings. So who could be better than that? Well, we're about to find out when we jump into number 10 of first. Number 10 kicks things off with a leader class offering that is a true blue leader class offering. A mold that's been used now a few times, and it's this guy. That's right, it is Beast Wars Megatron. Yes, but of course, we all know that this has also been used for T-Rex. It's also been used in the 2-pack for the Jurassic Park series. Look, this has the heft needed to be a leader. This has the complexity needed to be a leader, and it has the paint apps needed to be a leader. True blue leader takes the number 10 slot, and I can't argue with it. Number 9, I actually don't have because I didn't need the character. It is another leader class offering. It is the Kingdom version of Ultra Magnus. Like, I get it. I get it. A lot of people were really happy with that Magnus. A lot of people were also happy with the Siege one. It's a fine Ultra Magnus, no doubt about it. It really, like, it's fine. If I didn't have mine that I have, I would have definitely gone in for it. When I reviewed them, I said, look, They are true blue. I didn't review the Kingdom one, didn't get the chance, but I did review the Siege one, and I assume the Kingdom one very similar. I said it's a true blue leader. Like, the mass is there, the paint apps are there, the detail was there. You might not like the parts forming, but that's a subjective thing. For me, I didn't need it because I have the Combiner Wars one that has the core fighter upgrade for the white cab bot, and it has the X2 toys upgrade for his feet and stuff. So like, I didn't need another Ultra Magnus. That Combiner Wars one is pretty ideal for me now, but it wasn't for everyone, and I totally understand how you would be smitten with the robot mode. The alt mode, some people liked it, some people didn't. But you know what? Again, we have a true blue leader, we have a great looking robot, we have good articulation. You know what? I can't argue with it, man. Ultra Magnus takes the number 9 slot. Okay, so at number 8, we have our first Titan on the list, that being, oh, this big boy. It is Earthrise Scorponok. A lot of people said, quite frankly, I've been waiting for this ever since the release in Titan's Return of Fortress Maximus. He's been a long time coming, and when he did show up, the joints feel robust, the materials feel robust, he feels fantastic. Honestly, he was a really successful Titan. Mine has some, well, he has Black Rorichi in his hand as a Titan spear, but he also has some custom 3D printed upgrades on him from our buddy Grimlock Gon. Yeah, Titan class Scorponok. I absolutely adore the heft, the size, the bulk, and the look of this guy, and he takes the number 8 slot. Number 7 is a bit of an oldie but a goodie, going all the way back to the Siege line, and arguably one of the absolute best deluxes. They put out a true deluxe. If anything, it was a bigger deluxe, and it's this guy, Spinister. The sinister Spinister, if you will. I love the name. I love the look. He was one of my main Decepticons as a lad. I have given him a custom version of Singe and Hair Splitter, even though I know actual ones were released. I never did see Singe. He never came here. And Hair Splitter, I have the Skywarp, but I didn't get the Shroot, who is technically Hair Splitter. So I made my own. Very, very happy with how this turned out. Really, really happy. I know that the double cockpit thing is a little bit weird, but I love it for this guy. I love it for Rotor Storm. Spinister definitely deserved to be on this list, and he takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, we have another leader class offering, and guess what? Wouldn't you know it, this one as well is a true blue leader. The mass is there, the detail is there, everything was there, and it's this guy, Galvatron. And yeah, like, I get it. He is a true leader. The complexity is there, the parts count, the paint, the whole 9. I love it when people vote for things that the value is actually there. Now, to be fair, people did, like, I'll say different versions of this mold. Like, some people said the Selects, like, toy accurate version, some said the cartoon accurate version, some said the reformatted, and I was like, it's too hard to count these ones separate because they are all the same character, unlike the General Siege Tetrajets. I mean, they're all different characters, right? So I put them together, but any version of this mold is good. Mine now has the shoulders fixed, though I don't think it's necessary. Our buddy Justin from the 3D Corner did that. I took off all of the, like, schmutz and paint that was on him that was supposed to be battle damage. I've never liked the way that was done. But the mold itself is really tremendous. Now, a couple of people that have reviewed it said that they didn't really like it, said that they found it didn't hold together well. I don't know if you got a bad copy. I don't know if you did something wrong. I really don't know. But in both modes, mine holds together great. It holds together great with the shoulders the right way. It holds together great with the shoulders the wrong way. Because when I reviewed it, the shoulders were still the wrong way. And mine tabbed in just fine. So I don't know. I don't know. I agree with the fans, though, that this guy absolutely deserved to be on the list. And he took the number 6 slot. Well, with number 6 done, then you know where we are. We are at the most coveted of locations. You know where it is. It is the halfway mark. And for the halfway mark this time around, we actually have a tie. And, I guess I could have counted them as 2 separate ones, but why would I? Why not? Let's try and fit more on here if we can. And the tie is between this guy, Mr. Magnificence himself, that being Skylynx, the Commander class Skylynx, and represented by Countdown, because I don't actually have him, Omega Supreme. Ironically, I put Countdown with Skylinks. But while I don't have Omega Supreme, I've reviewed it. It is tremendous. I can't argue with Titan Omega Supreme. I really can't. It was a well done Omega Supreme, good articulation, fun base mode. You can like attach him to other bases and stuff. There's a lot there to like. Plus, he came with Countdown, who I enjoy. And then we have this. And I honestly was of the camp like, my Combiner Wars is good enough. And then I got this guy in hand and he blew me away. Of all three of the Commander class offerings that we have gotten so far in the War for Cybertron trilogy, this guy is the heaviest. He is the biggest. Now, he's also arguably the most simple to transform and probably has the least paint, though he does have a fair amount of paint. A lot of it is like actual plastic color though, right? So he earned his commander status with his mask, no doubt about it. It's quite large. It's not Titan large, but it is quite large. Whether you want to slot in Omega Supreme or Skylinks or both of these guys deserve to be on the list, and they took the number 5 slot. While number 4 on these lists often goes to Grimlock, and Studio Series Grimlock did get a couple of votes. I couldn't count him here because that Studio Series, he actually wasn't a part of the War for Cybertron trilogy, and he wouldn't have gotten enough votes to actually make it on the list anyway. He wouldn't have even gotten an honorable mention. I'll tell you now, he got a grand total of 2 votes. I respect people voting for Grimlock. And I get why they would, but he just couldn't be included on this particular one. Maybe he could be included in a best of 2021, though. We'll see. So who did take number 4? The boss bot himself, Optimus Prime. Some people said the Earthrise Optimus Prime. Some people said the Netflix Optimus Prime. And some people said the Kingdom Optimus Prime. All the same guy. Look, the bottom line is this: we're probably never going to get a more ideal Optimus Prime in the main line. The guy has great articulation. He has the look that he's supposed to have. I did some custom paint work on mine, for sure. He comes with the Matrix. He comes with the trailer. If you got the Centurion pack, you got Roller. You got the bigger blaster. Like, he has his axe. Again, if you got the Centurion pack. Like, potentially, literally every single thing you could want in an Optimus Prime is here. Some might argue and say the silhouette is slightly off. Some might say, well, I like the silver or I don't like the silver. I like the silver or I don't like the silver. You could paint it over, you could remove it, you could leave it. It's up to you. Some will say that they like the reds and the blues on this one better. Some will say that they like the darker reds and blues of the Netflix one better. I don't really think it matters which version of this mold you have, as long as you have a version of this mold, because it's just that good. And it took the number 4 slot. And coming in at number 3 is the other boss bot, this being Rodimus Prime. This is also our second Commander class entrant on the list. I was very hard, and everybody knows I've been real hard on that Studio Series Hot Rod. A lot of people have said, oh, you don't like the thing. If that's what you think, then you didn't listen to my criticisms. It's simple as that. But this guy is, by the numbers, by the math, he is actually barely a Commander class. Of the 3 offerings that we've had at that price point, he is the lightest. However, he also seems to be the one that has the most paint, and arguably one of the highest, if not the highest, parts count. Definitely a bigger parts count than Skylinks. I'm not sure if it's quite as much as Jetfire, but I do feel like he has more paint than Jetfire. Jetfire has a lot of white plastic. He does have some great paint, but I feel like this guy has just a little bit more. I've never been a fan of the character, but I like this. I like this, and I know that his face is off from what we remember, but it looks like he's battle-worn, battle-tested, has experience. This looks like a sage leader. This is the first time I can honestly say that there is a Rodimus Prime that I could actually get behind and root for, and that says an awful lot. Enough people like this guy, myself included, that he was able to take the number 3 slot. And coming in at number 2, or almost to the top, comes another character that I can't argue. This one comes from the Siege line, and it's this guy, Jetfire. He has all of his bits and pieces on here. And I said Jetfire because with all of this on, he very much looks like Jetfire. With all of this off, I call him Skyfire. So like Jetfire to me is like his souped up form, I suppose. This set the bar for what a Commander class value should be. If you thought that you got enough here for the price, then when we got Skylinks, it should have been measured by this. Did it match up to this? Well, Skylinks is actually more mass than this. So yeah, he measured up. Then we had Rodimus. Did Rodimus measure up to this? Because this was the measuring stick. Rodimus much lighter, but I would say that Rodimus probably has more paint. He's the one that's, and some people might say, no man, the Rodimus just wasn't Commander class, he should have been a leader. I get that. But yeah, this guy definitely worth it. The best Jetfire that in the main line that we've ever gotten. It's the best Jetfire I've ever looked at. And I looked at Phoenix for the record and did not like it at all. I detested it. It was broken at a package. Wasn't even a little bit of a fan. There was no joy in that for me. If you're a fans toys guy, then I'm sure you love Phoenix. I have no doubt. I get it. It's just I sweat bullets doing that review. I didn't enjoy it in either mode. It wasn't for me. This guy, I enjoy the transformation. I enjoy the look in robot mode. I enjoy the look in vehicle mode. Everything here was an absolute win for me and for enough fans that he was able to take the number 2 slot. So it only seems fitting that number 1 for the entire War for Cybertron trilogy should be an example of what makes a Transformer good. It should be an example to all the designers. It should be an example to the accountants and the pencil pushers and the business types. It should be an example to all fans of what makes a good Transformer and a good value for money. What is it we're looking for as the ideal representation of the franchise that we know and love? That's what number 1 here should be. So across the pantheon of everything that was offered, there were a lot of strong offerings in this trilogy. Who was the best according to the votes amassed from fans? I can't argue with it. I really can't argue with this at all. It is Cyclonus. A lot of people have said that Cyclonus was John Warden's kind of swan song, that he had a huge hand in designing this. That's what I've heard. I don't know if there's any truth to it, because I also heard that Slitherfang was the last one he designed. I don't know. But here's what I do know, that this is what we ended up getting. And when I saw it, I said, man, that looks so good. I was gonna be okay with my classics, but I couldn't deny how good this looked. And then I heard the chatter, and I was like, man, I gotta check this out. The light piping is perfect light piping on it. The shape of the head is ideal. The face maybe is a little long, to my mind. The look of the body is pretty much perfect. There's like next to no hollow space, a little bit here in the back of the leg, but next to no hollow space. The things that this guy does incorporates. So there's not a huge backpack or anything. Like, there's things that twist and turn, and like, his arms don't go down under him. They incorporate. And then when I finally took his body apart and I'm unfurling the nose cone and taking it out, I had extreme joy handling this guy in robot mode, in vehicle mode, and during the transformation. Everything here from every angle I find absolutely rewarding. This is not only a true blue Voyager, but I would say it is a ideal representation of everything that's good about Transformers. And there you have it, 10 down to 1 according to the votes amassed from fans all across social media. This one, for the record, for those curious, had a grand total of 782 votes. So it's not our biggest, certainly not our smallest. So it's pretty good sampling. Most of it I agree with, to be honest with you. It was hard. And a lot of fans that voted said, man, it's difficult to only pick a couple, because this has been a strong trilogy and really filled out a lot of my collection. I get it. Other ones that had votes that did not make the actual list or the honorable mentions were the Sharkticon Na against Studio Series 86, Scourge against Studio Series 86, and Wrecker against Studio Series 86. I get why people would want to include them, but they weren't actually in the War for Cybertron trilogy. But all great candidates, to be honest with you. We also had Cheetor get some votes, and I don't really agree with that one. I wasn't a fan of the Cheetor mold. Rhinox got some votes. Who else did, as I'm looking down here? Paleo Treks had some votes. Hoist, Trailbreaker, the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime, Runamuck, Runabout, Rotor Storm, Warpath. Wrong had a vote. Who else? Mainframe had a vote. I liked seeing that. Nemesis Prime had a couple of votes. And Six Gun had a couple of votes. So it was really interesting the way that it went. Of course, as always, I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. Let me know if your favorites made the list or not. What else? Yeah. See, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this one that I stumble over my words. Let's try that again. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. Let me know if your favorites made the list, and I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, usually. This time of year, things get a little messed up. At the stop motion premieres, if you haven't checked out, it's a very Transformers Christmas 6, which premiered a couple of days ago. Go back and check that out. Or, of course, the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.